Welcome back to another Explainer. Today, we're stepping right out of the daylight and diving headfirst into the shadows to break down an absolute masterclass in modern tension. We're looking at a deeply unsettling short script called The Mirror's Whisper. We're going to see exactly how this story engineers a terrifying, basically inescapable trap for its main character, Amit, using nothing but atmosphere, isolation, and, honestly, the absolute darkest corners of the human mind. So let's dim the lights and get right into this deconstruction. Just feel the absolute chill of those words for a second. Imagine hearing that through the receiver of your own phone while you're standing completely in the dark inside your own house. This is the horrifying warning that a mysterious stranger delivers to our protagonist, Amit, right at the exact moment he finally thinks he's safe. Okay, let's dive into this chronologically and trace the exact steps that pushed him into this literally impossible situation. Section 1. The perfect isolation setup. Let's look at Act 1.
Now, to really appreciate what Amit is going through as the story opens up at 11:58 p.m., we kind of need to anchor ourselves in how psychological horror actually works. We usually think of our homes as our ultimate sanctuaries, right? The one place where the outside world just cannot get to us. But this genre, it doesn't rely on cheap jump scares or physical monsters busting through your drywall. Instead, it asks a way darker question. What happens when the very walls you built to keep the world out actually trap you inside with something so much worse? The dread here is all about targeting a character's baseline sense of safety and just watching their grip on reality completely unravel. So let's see how this dread gets built into a very specific set of environmental constraints.
Think about the traps we're dealing with here. First, you've got a heavy thunderstorm outside, giving us this continuous, deeply unsettling background noise. Add in an isolated house, and then, bam, a sudden power outage that plunges Amit into total pitch-black darkness. But you know what the most insidious trap of all is? It's his complete reliance on his smartphone. The writer takes Amit's only lifeline, the exact thing you or I would clutch for safety in the dark, and basically weaponizes it. The device he's relying on for a connection to the outside world becomes the exact conduit delivering the terror straight into his ear. All right, moving right along into Section 2, The Intruder Inside. So in Acts 2 and 3, Amit initially brushes off this weird call as a prank, but then his phone pings. He's just received a live text photo of himself standing out on his balcony taken from the pitch black outside. Suddenly, the stakes absolutely skyrocket. This threat, it's not theoretical anymore. Someone is actually out there in the lightning, watching every single move he makes. And then the stranger on the phone casually informs Amit that while he was standing there paralyzed by fear, staring at that terrifying photo, he wasted 40 crucial seconds. The intruder isn't just standing around anymore. He's found the back door. The pacing just accelerates so dramatically right here, forcing Amit, and honestly us as the audience, into desperate action. He has to check that door right now. And this brilliantly illustrates the terrifying, real-world journey Amit has to take. Just imagine this pitch-black descent. Step 1, he's going down these narrow, creaking stairs armed with absolutely nothing but a weak little phone flashlight. Then, Step 2, suddenly he hears it, the sharp clink of a metal spoon hitting the kitchen floor, which proves, without a doubt, that someone is already inside. Then we hit Step 3. He reaches the back door, grabs the knob, and it turns easily. It's completely unlocked. And this is where the script just masterfully subverts that classic locked door horror trope. The scary part isn't just that the door is open. It's the absolute psychological paralysis Amit feels because he knows for a fact that he locked it earlier. So in a total blind panic, he violently slams the door shut, throwing the deadbolt 3 separate times. He backs away, literally weeping, telling the stranger on the phone that he locked the intruder out. But, as we heard right at the start of this explainer, he actually locked the intruder in. Which brings us right into Section 3, the psychological trap. So the stranger's voice returns, and he tells Amit that the intruder is right behind him in the dining hall. Amit doesn't even look back. He just bolts. He sprints upstairs, bursts into his bedroom, slams the door, locks it, and shoves this heavy wooden chair right under the doorknob. He collapses on the floor, crying, clutching his phone, desperately believing he's finally safe. Amit is locked in his room, but I really want you to lean in for a second and ask yourself, who is actually inside the house? Because right then, the stranger sighs and says, the timeline always repeats itself. When Amit asks what on earth he means, the stranger just tells him to look at his hands. We've been following Amit's perspective so closely this whole time, we honestly haven't even questioned the fundamental reality of what we're witnessing, until this exact moment. Now, what's really interesting about this contrast is the devastating twist it reveals. Let's look at Amit's belief. He fully thinks he's holding his smartphone, talking to this helpful stranger who's trying to save his life. But the reality? Amit looks down at his right hand to find that he is actually gripping a sharp, rusted kitchen knife. The phone isn't there. It was never in his hand during this entire sequence. The stranger's voice, it's echoing directly from inside his own head. The entire phone call is a complete hallucination. Now, let's bring the energy down to a cold, analytical calm as we enter the final act. Section 4, breaking down the loop. Completely disoriented, with his reality totally shattered, Amit slowly walks over toward a large, full-length mirror standing ominously in the corner of his bedroom. As he gets closer, think about the visual breakdown of his identity happening right here. Inside that mirror, the reflection isn't crying like the real Amit is. No, the reflection is smiling this wide, distorted, completely unnatural smile. And crucially, it's the reflection that is holding the smartphone up to its ear. The script is visually juxtaposing Amit's lost, terrified reality, where he's holding a knife, against the sinister control of his own reflection. The real monster? It was waiting inside the mirror the entire time. So the crucial point is understanding exactly how this mind-bending time loop actually operates. Just follow the timeline of the loop with me. The person who originally broke into the kitchen, the one who's trying to get into the bedroom from the hallway right now, screaming for help, that is Amit from the past. The Amit standing inside the room holding the knife, completely devoid of his sanity, is Amit in the present. And that voice on the phone, the entity inside the mirror orchestrating this whole nightmare, that's Amit from the future. Amit is his own intruder. The reflection literally speaks those words into the phone, and Amit hears them simultaneously echoing in his mind. Then the reflection drops the phone. It raises its own knife. Suddenly, this massive banging starts coming from Amit's actual bedroom door. Past Amit is out there in the hall, begging for help. Present Amit looks down at the knife in his real hand. His eyes go dark, he loses every last shred of remaining sanity. He turns toward that barricaded door with pure, murderous intent aimed squarely at his past self. He starts walking toward it just as the mirror goes completely empty. The script cuts to dead black, right on a massive thunderclap. Wow, it is just a phenomenally crafted psychological trap. And it leaves us with this final, deeply unsettling thought to really ponder. Are the walls we build meant to keep monsters out, or do they simply trap us inside with our own demons? Take some time to think about that one today. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll see you next time as we continue to trace the fascinating structures of the things we read and watch.